From the press box atop Dolphin Soccer Park on the campus of the College of Staten Island, CSI Sportsnet presents NCAA Division II women's soccer coverage live on the ECC network. Today's matchup features the Warriors of East Stroudsburg University taking on the College of Staten Island Dolphins. Good afternoon, everybody. This is Joe Foreman bringing you all of the action during today's game. And for the College of Staten Island women's soccer team, it has been quite a while since we saw them take the turf here at home, over 2 weeks, with their last home match being played on Wednesday, October 6th against Goldie Beacom. That was a 5-0 defeat in that match for the College of Staten Island. Since then, CSI has played in 3 matches, 2 of those conference matchups. The first of those conference matchups came on Saturday, October 9th against Deauville. That match was a 1-1 tie for the College of Staten Island. And then in between that match with the Saints and their second conference match, the Dolphins did play a third match on Thursday, October 14th at Wilmington. That was a 4-0 defeat for the College of Staten Island. Then their last match on Saturday, the Dolphins defeated St. Thomas Aquinas College, a fellow ECC school, by a final score of 1-0. So the Dolphins come into this match having won their last match on Saturday, looking to make it 2 straight against the Warriors here this afternoon. And for East Stroudsburg coming in, they also picked up a victory in their last match against Mansfield. That match was played just 2 days ago on Tuesday. It was a 2-0 victory for the Warriors in that matchup. They will also be looking for their second straight win this afternoon. Overall, East Stroudsburg comes in with a record of 6-1 on the season. And for the College of Staten Island, they enter today's match with a 3-10-1 record. So overall, a much more successful 21 campaign for the Warriors thus far. But for the Dolphins, they did defeat the one common opponent between these two sides. Both teams playing Felician University earlier this season. That was our opening broadcast of the 2021 season here on CSI Sportsnet. The Dolphins defeating the Golden Falcons back on Wednesday, September 8th in double overtime by a final score of 2-1. As for the Warriors, they defeated the Golden Falcons in their first match of the 2021 season by a final score of 3-0. So both teams picking up a victory over Felician University. Both teams come into today's match looking for their second consecutive win. As for the College of Staten Island, individually this season, they do have many players who have gotten into the goal column thus far. A lot of scoring on this Dolphins roster in terms of number of players who have registered a goal. Unfortunately for the Dolphins, they haven't put many goals up on the scoreboard this season to this point. Nadia Ivola leads the way for the College of Staten Island with 3 goals, followed by Mersada Pelinkovic with a pair. Jenna Como, Emily Albano, Jacqueline D'Amico, and Danny Duca also with a goal on the season as well, giving the College of Staten Island 6 total goal scorers on the year. For East Stroudsburg, it is Haley Scove leading the way in goals scored with 4, and a pair of Warriors also with 3 goals on the season. Those would be Rebecca Catula and I want to make sure I get the correct pronunciation, so I apologize for my hesitation, but it is Mirta Boss, also with 3 goals on the season for the Warriors. So 3 players with at least 3 goals on the season for East Stroudsburg, and then 4 other players have gotten into the goal column as well, giving them 7 total goal scorers in 2021. And in net, it will be Jackson Maury. I want to make sure I have that pronunciation correct. It is Jackson Maury in goal for East Stroudsburg. She has played every minute in between the pipes this season, allowing 1.25 goals per game across her appearances so far. 13 of those all starts. She has allowed 17 goals and saved 80% of the shots she has faced so far this year. For the College of Staten Island in goal, it will be Sarah Villacrest once again. She has played in 13 matches. 11 of those appearances have been starts. She has allowed 30 goals for an average of about 2.6 goals per game. She has saved 70% of the shots that she has faced so far this year. So Villacrest in between the pipes once again for the College of Staten Island. We have seen her make some remarkable saves so far this year, but she has been under immense pressure behind a Dolphins team that has allowed over 3.3 goals per game 47 total goals on the season. The Dolphins have been outscored on the year 47 goals to 9, and that is reflected in their 3-10-1 mark. However, the Dolphins 2-3-1 within the East Coast Conference, and they have some more conference matchups coming up later this season. So the Dolphins could potentially get level or perhaps even above 500 within their own conference this year. As for East Stroudsburg in net and looking at the goals they've allowed versus goals scored against them, I mentioned the 17 goals allowed by Jackson Maury on the season. The team has scored 15 goals in support of their goalkeeper. So far less scoring overall this year in matches played by East Stroudsburg, but they've had a much better time of it scoring goals than the College of Staten Island. They have found the back of the net 15 times, only outscored by a pair of goals, 17-15, as opposed to the College of Staten Island, which has been outscored 47-9 on the season. So the clock has hit 0 in our countdown toward pregame introductions and the introductions of starting lineups. So with that, we'll step aside for just a minute and take a break. When we come back, starting lineups for both teams ahead of today's match between East Stroudsburg University and the College of Staten Island right here on the ECC Network. And we're back here on the ECC Network, and as you can see on your screen right now, starting lineups are being introduced for both sides. So ahead of one final break for the national anthem, I will bring you the starting lineup for both teams, beginning first with the visiting Warriors of East Stroudsburg University. In goal will be number 1, Maury Jackson. The rest of the starters for the Warriors in numerical order: number 2, Natalie Shuley; number 4, Millie Smith; number 9, Haley Scove; number 10, Tegan Marshall; number 13, Rebecca Catula; number 15, Caitlin Norwood; number 19, Michaela Motes; number 24, Brienne Seaman; and number 29, Ella Connolly. Also in the starting lineup, but not listed in our game program for the Warriors, is number 32, Mirta Boss. Starters for the College of Staten Island are as follows. In goal will be 00, Sarah Villacrest. The rest of the Dolphin starters in numerical order: number 2, Jacqueline D'Amico; number 4, Emily Albano; number 5, Macy Jones-Bush; number 9, Natalie Benitez; number 15, Sophia Espada; number 17, Angie Galan; number 19, Jenna Como; number 23, Ariel Solomon; number 24, Marsada Pelinkovic; and number 27, Megan Marr. The Dolphins are coached by Brendan Guzman, and the assistant is Nisa Cortez. Head coach of the Warriors is Rob Berkowitz. The assistants are Megan Dewan and Kevin Ramos. These two teams scheduled for a 2 p.m. kickoff, and we seem right about on track for that. But as you can see on your screen, the Dolphins are wearing pink socks in today's game in honor of Breast Cancer Awareness Month. Several Dolphins are playing for specific friends and family members, neighbors perhaps, who have been afflicted with cancer, and we'll go through some of those at halftime as players out there on the pitch have provided us with the names of those whom they are recognizing here this afternoon. And we'll take a quick break for the national anthem and be right back.
We would like to remind you that the NCAA and the College of Staten Island promote good sportsmanship by student athletes, coaches, and spectators. We request your cooperation by supporting the officials.
We're back from Dolphin Soccer Park, the College of Staten Island, getting set to take on East Stroudsburg University. The Dolphins enter this match with a record of 3-10-1 on the season. The Warriors come in with a record of 6-6-1. And as I mentioned before, the Dolphins are wearing their pink socks in honor of Breast Cancer Awareness Month. Several players gave us the names of those whom they are recognizing on this day, many of whom were afflicted with this disease. And taking a look on the right side of your screen, though I don't have a monitor in front of me, so it may not be pictured on your screen, but the Dolphins are huddled up to the right of midfield, and the Warriors are huddled up to the left of midfield. And these Warrior kits, very reminiscent of uniforms worn by the Portland Trail Blazers, if you're familiar with the National Basketball Association. The Blazers with a throwback uniform, much like these Warriors uniforms being worn here this afternoon. And the Warriors about set to break huddle and take their positions out on the pitch. The Dolphins ready to do the same. But speaking of the NBA, the season kicked off 2 nights ago with the Nets and the Bucks. And last night, the New York Knicks season got underway at Madison Square Garden. The Knicks picking up a victory over the Boston Celtics in double overtime, picking up that win in typical New York Knicks fashion, losing a lead down the stretch and then managing to pull it out in the end. And very entertaining game for those who are fans of basketball. And basketball coming soon here at the College of Staten Island is the first basketball game of the season to be played by the men's basketball team on Friday night, November 12th. So be sure to join us here at the College of Staten Island in the tank for men's basketball and the Tournament of Heroes, which will tip off in about 3 weeks from now. 3 weeks from tomorrow, to be exact. Friday, November 12th, kicks off the Tournament of Heroes here at the College of Staten Island. And, of course, we encourage all who are able to join us here at the College of Staten Island for that annual event, which will continue with the team, of course, now in provisional year 3 as they transition into NCAA Division II. Fully immersed in Division II next year, as they will be able to qualify for postseason beginning in the 2022-2023 season. Warriors still huddled up to the left of midfield, and the Dolphins to the right, as we are now trickling past 2 p.m., about 2 minutes past our scheduled start time. But it looks like we are about to get underway as the Warriors will take a position over the ball at midfield. That is Haley Scove, who will kick things off from the College of Staten Island here this afternoon. Dolphins and Warriors on the ECC Network. East Stroudsburg to possess it first as Millie Smith sends it long toward the far sideline, and giving chase was Katula, but she runs out of space and the Dolphins will throw in. Throw taken along the far sideline. It's Solomon with it. She's challenged and gets rid of the ball to Galan, who sends it to D'Amico. Dolphins possess it in their own penalty area as Marr sends it up to Albano, and now Pelinkovic has it. Pelinkovic for Benitez has her pass intercepted by Norwood. That was Shuley, who sends it back to Boss. Dolphins with an interception in the midfield have a one-woman advantage here on the attack, but that attacking play shut down quickly by Seaman. D'Amico for Espada along the far sideline. This is Solomon. Solomon for Espada, who chases down into the corner, and that rolls over the touchline. Throw in to be taken deep in their own zone by the Warriors. And Marshall is the first to touch after the throw, and she sends it into open space for Norwood. Here comes Norwood moving toward midfield, and she looked to send one up to her striker, but Marr was there. Marr's pass intercepted, and the Warriors looking to move forward on the attack. Once again, this is Shuley. Shuley's pass is blocked. It winds up on the foot of Albano. Albano moving out toward midfield, and she'll look to reset as she sends it back to Galan. Galan for Espada. Espada is met by Millie Smith, who sends it over to Skove. Skove looking for Norwood along the near sideline, but that pass a bit too far ahead of Norwood, and the Dolphins will throw. Off of the throw, Solomon the first to it for Staten Island. This is Pelinkovich with it now. Pelinkovich sends it back to Marr, who was looking for Solomon up the pitch, but waiting for it and clearing is Seaman. This is Connolly over to Smith. Now Smith working against Como. She sends it back to Seaman, who sends it into the neutral zone. With it now is Marshall. Marshall sends it up the pitch, but the Dolphins are able to regain possession back. Marr looks to clear for Staten Island, but waiting for it was Norwood. It's headed by Como for Benitez. Benitez working across midfield, gives it up for Pelinkovich, but not enough on that one, and Shuley takes possession. This is Connolly for Norwood. Benitez meeting Norwood over the ball. Both players fighting for possession, and coming away with it was Shuley. She sends it over to Skove. Skove over to the far sideline. Working along the far sideline was Moats. Her pass intercepted by Albano. Albano sends it to Como. She was met by Skove, and Pelinkovich, the first to get a foot on it there, sent it up toward the back line of the Warriors. Possession now with the Dolphins just beyond midfield. Pelinkovich moving forward, being chased down by Shuley. She sends it up ahead to Solomon. Espada is met by Seaman, who is able to take possession for the Warriors and moves up along the far sideline. Seaman looking for Catula, and Villacrest will tell her backs to let it roll, and the Dolphins keeper with her first touch of the afternoon, just over 4 minutes into this match. Still looking for our first shot as Villacrest sends it out across midfield. Solomon sees it travel over her head, and Seaman sends it out toward the midfield stripe. Pelinkovich chips it up in the air toward Solomon, who went down working against Boss. Now Boss chips it up in the air back in the other direction. Pelinkovich waiting for it alongside Shuley. And the first to get a foot on it was Skove, but it's headed away by Marr. Headed a second time, and now a third into the midfield circle. This is Smith. Here come the Warriors. This is Marshall. Marshall working against Galan, and she wanted a foul call, did not get it, as the Dolphins will look to move in the other direction. Galan sent it back to Jones Bush, who was looking for Solomon, but that ball too long. And now Jackson has it for the Warriors and decides to send it over to Boss. Norwood back to Boss, and once again the ball with the keeper. Jackson intercepted by Espada, but Seaman was there, making sure that Espada could not get a quality shot off. It'll be a goal kick for the Warriors after that errant shot by Espada, and Jackson will choose to roll it forward to Boss. Boss looking to send it into the midfield circle. It's knocked away by D'Amico. Boss will try again a bit further on this one. It's headed by Galan up to D'Amico and over to Marr. Pelinkovich up to Como. Como has some room, but that space is shut down quickly. As shielding her off the ball was Connolly, and she lets it roll over the touchline for a Warriors goal kick. Jackson waiting for the ball as Connolly rolls it over to her keeper. It's with Boss once again off of a roll from Jackson, and Jackson has it right back now, sending it over to Boss again. Up to Skove and back to Boss. Boss for Skove again, working against Como. moving toward the center of the pitch. She sends it across toward the far sideline. This is Smith with it now. Back to Skov. Albano challenging and forcing Skov to give it up to Boss. Boss looking to send it up the pitch, but it's Pelinkovic who has it for Staten Island, and she sends it back to Marr. Marr moving forward, gives it up to Como, and now Pelinkovic with it again, and nobody home on that pass attempt. Is waiting for it was Connolly. This is Marshall. Marshall sent it to Catula, and now Catula with the game's first shot. It is partially blocked. Chasing it down in the corner is Shuley, and we will have our first corner kick. So a blocked shot attempt, netting the Warriors a corner kick opportunity as they take it short. Here comes Marshall. Marshall with the cross, and it's headed away by Marr. It will be another East Stroudsburg corner. Not a bad position to shoot from for Catula on the shot that was blocked. Just outside of the box, right in the middle of the pitch. And a fortunate bounce for the Warriors on the block as it quickly set up the corner, as the Dolphins had no chance to keep that ball in. Shuley will take the corner long this time toward the far post and headed high by Ella Connolly. A very good corner kick by Shuley. And Connolly was in great position to bury that header, but she got a bit underneath it, and it traveled high over the crossbar. Pelinkovic for Solomon, and we will head back in the other direction, as I'm not sure Pelinkovic was able to keep that ball in along the near sideline. Throw for the Warriors upcoming. Caitlin Norwood to take it. It's a long throw toward the center of the box, headed up in the air by Jones-Bush, and headed again on the way down by Smith. Giving chase is Marshall, and she sends it back toward the far sideline as the Dolphins converge on it. Took possession for a moment, but give it away quickly. That was D'Amico who sent it up in the air toward Solomon, and her header right to the back line of East Stroudsburg. Boss into the midfield circle for Skov. Skov back to Seaman. And that one intended, I believe, from Moats. And the Dolphins will throw as they make Galan move back a couple of strides, and she will throw across midfield, and it's emphatically headed away, which may spring the Warriors on the attack. But a good play there by D'Amico to shut it down, as bearing down on Como was Connolly, and that draws the whistle. That is our first foul of the match, over 10 minutes into the first half. Free kick to be taken by Marr, and she goes short with it for Jones-Bush. Dolphins have it for a moment in the attacking third, but Warriors able to take it away, and they promptly turn it over as Galan sends it back to Marr. Marr for Pelinkovic. Pelinkovic being challenged by Shuley once again, and she'll send it back to Marr, who puts it in the air once again, and that one rolls over the near sideline. Throwing up coming for the Warriors. Throw taken by Norwood, a long throw toward midfield. Catula got a foot on it and sent it over to Skov. Skov from Marshall. Marshall moving toward the middle of the field. Gives it up to Connolly. That's Moats along the far sideline, and that one sent into the attacking third quickly, but the Warriors think better of it. They sent it back to Boss and turn it over. But Benitez with a strong touch, too strong, and that allows Norwood to take it away. Ball now with Smith. It's Motes sending it into the center of the pitch once again. Albano heads it toward Pelinkovic, who was the closest Dolphin. And the two teams collide over the ball, but coming away with it were the Warriors. As Scove, working against Albano, will send it back to Seaman. Seaman for Smith. This is Motes. Catula redirects for Marshall, and Marshall had nowhere to go with that ball as she looked to send it into the box. Solomon for Espada. Now Solomon right back to Espada once again. That pass intended for Como is taken away by the Warriors. Ball back with their keeper, and now Boss has it from Jackson. We've seen that connection quite a few times as Boss and Jackson have worked the ball back and forth, and it ultimately leads to a potential attacking play for the Warriors, but it's shut down by Jones-Bush on the clearance. Good ball there from Boss as her and Jackson have sent it back and forth several times already. And that time, Boss quickly sent it up the pitch, nearly creating an opportunity for her squad on the attack as they may have a chance right here. And down went Scove in the box. No whistle. Dolphins looking to counter. Here comes Como looking for Solomon. And Solomon unable to get there ahead of Boss as Scove is back to her feet, trailing the play. But the Dolphins will have a throw-in in the attacking third. Not a bad attempt on the ball by Como, looking for Solomon as Boss just got there ahead of the Dolphins striker. Once again, the ball is sent over the near sideline. Dolphins will try the throw once again. Throw by Pelinkovic towards Solomon. And possession right back with the Warriors. Here comes Norwood. Albano trying to keep possession with CSI. She does, and it appeared as if Albano was fouled. Looks like we had an advantage being played for a short time there, as the official did have the hand up. The head referee, that is, not the lines judge, which would have signaled an offsides. But the Dolphins turn it over, and now Seaman has it. She sends it up the pitch. First Dolphin to make contact was Marr. Now the ball with Jones-Bush. Jones-Bush for Albano. Albano into the midfield circle, being chased by Scove, and she got rid of it, but that pass intercepted by Boss. Boss to Scove. Scove looking for Catula, and there's a great ball, but Jones-Bush gets there, overran the play. Cross to the other side of the box. This is Marshall, and Marshall's shot is saved by Villacrez. The Dolphins keeper with her first save of the match, as it was necessary following that strong attacking play by the Warriors, as Jones-Bush did get there, but overran the ball. And that allowed the crossing attempt by Catula. Marshall with the shot, saved by Villacrez. First shot on goal over 15 minutes into this first half. As there's an interception by Shuley, and fortunate for the Dolphins that Jones-Bush was able to clear. And we have a handball called against the Dolphins as Benitez was met over the ball by Norwood. And it will be a free kick to be taken by Rebecca Catula. Warriors lining up along the top of the box. They are lined up with the far post. Catula's free kick sent toward the middle of the box, headed toward the near post, or at least the near post relative to my perspective, and that one just wide, though not a lot behind it, so it would have been an easy save for Villacrez, as we will have some Dolphin substitutions. 3 Dolphins coming on: Garrett Comohendo, Nadia Evola, and Colleen Rodriguez. Coming off are Sofia Espada, Ariel Solomon, and Natalie Benitez. Dolphins possess it, moving out of their own box and toward midfield. Good move there by Como to avoid the challenge by Connolly. Here comes Como. Como looking for Rodriguez, who just entered the game. Fresh legs off the Dolphins bench giving chase, but not there quickly enough as Jackson able to clear out toward midfield. That's D'Amico for Evola, the Dolphins' leading goal scorer. Evola with the lone goal against Stack in CSI's last match, a 1-0 victory in conference play. As that is sent out toward midfield and headed by Norwood. This is Smith, and Rodriguez takes it away on that pass attempt as Como will send it over to D'Amico. D'Amico with a nice move to avoid the challenge, but she cannot keep possession as Albano, off the pass deflection, is able to keep it with CSI. Villacrest for Marr. Marr has her pass for Albano intercepted. This is Scove working against Albano, and it trickles over the near sideline for a Warriors throw. Norwood to throw right in front of Dolphins head coach Brendan Guzman, and he's giving a piece of his mind to someone. At least it appeared that way, as none of the officials are in the area, so it looks like he's barking orders to his team. Norwood's throw for East Stroudsburg finds the foot of Scove. Albano pursuing from behind, and that forces Norwood to send it toward the top of the box, and she has an attacker there, but the flag is up. And I just never understand why after the lines judge puts the flag up in the air, the whistle can be so delayed. I guess they're playing the advantage for Staten Island in that case, but a late whistle following the offsides call, which was apparent from the start, as Marr will move forward. Gives it to Como, and Como redirects for Albano, who has a lot of open space in front of her. Evola has it knocked away by Smith, and coming away with it is Connolly with Rodriguez in hot pursuit. It's sent back toward Pelinkovic, who has it for Staten Island. Now Marr for Rodriguez, back toward Como, and knocked over the near sideline by Connolly for a Staten Island throw. Pelinkovic will take the throw along the near side. And off the redirect from Como, it is right back with Pelinkovic. Marr toward Comuhendo, but that ball too high. This is Scove looking to chase it down off her own chip up in the air. Catula redirects, and Jones-Bush puts it back up in the air, where Connolly is the first to get ahead on it. And Boss will send it over the near sideline for another Dolphins throw. Pelinkovic to throw once again. She finds Comuhendo on the throw. Strong challenge, wins possession back for the Warriors as Catula works against Jones-Bush, seemingly retreating, and she does send it back to Connolly. Now Evola giving chase. Off the ball from Connolly toward the far sideline. And the Dolphins will throw, though I thought it was last touched by Evola. It sure was, and the whistle does blow, awarding the throw in to East Stroudsburg. Just under 24.5 minutes to go in the first half. Still no score, as that one is thrown in by the Warriors, and possession ended up with the Dolphins initially, but CSI can't keep it as they send it over the far sideline for another Warriors throw. Throw taken by East Stroudsburg, and it goes right off the head of Smith and back over the far sideline. Now it will be a Dolphins throw. Throw by Galan finds the foot of Rodriguez. This is Como. Now D'Amico off the heel of Como, who wasn't looking for it, and now moving forward on the attack of the Warriors. This is Smith, who had that ball partially blocked by the Dolphins, and D'Amico sends it over to Rodriguez, who cannot keep it in play. Throw in along the far sideline once again for East Stroudsburg, headed away by D'Amico. And now sent into the box by the Warriors and sent away by Marr. Dolphins able to take it away And now they move toward midfield. Komuhendo moving forward with some speed into the center of the pitch and could not beat Seaman on the attack. That's Smith sending it back to Boss, and now it's up with Norwood. Norwood back to Boss. She sends it over to Seaman. Ball now with Moats and back to Seaman. Long ball up ahead, right on target, and the Dolphins did get away with the jersey tug. I can't believe Staten Island got away with that one, as they were clearly pulling on the jersey of Marshall, but the official missed it, and CSI will look to counter, and that counter shut down quickly and gets started again just as quickly, as Evola inadvertently got a foot on the pass attempt by the Warriors. That springs the Dolphins forward on the attack, but the pass attempt from Pelinkovic too long for Komuhendo, and we will have a pair of substitutions for East Stroudsburg. Before filling you in on the substitutions, I want to make sure I have the correct pronunciation, as we have quite a long one here on the pronunciation guide in front of me. So I want to make sure we get it right, and I'll have that for you in just a moment. As the ball is headed up in the air, the two teams will fight for it in the midfield, and Pelinkovic gets it to D'Amico. Ball with Galan, sent back to her keeper Villacres, who looks to clear it out toward midfield, and it's onto the foot of Shuley, who made the pass to Moats, and Moats sends it back to Boss. Boss for Scove, who is working against Albano. It's back with Boss once again. Boss overlapping onto the attack from her backer position is stonewalled, and Komuhendo nearly took it away from Scove, who didn't see her coming. And ball now with Seaman, who crosses midfield with it and looks to send it into the box, but it winds up with Villacres, the Dolphins' keeper. Alicia Biocchini, one of the substitutions who came on for the Warriors, wanted to make sure we had that pronunciation correct as she entered the game. So Bianchini, one of a pair of substitutions. I'm looking for the other following this potential Dolphins attack, and that one's cleared away over the near sideline, but Bianchini got to it first. Pelinkovic with it for Staten Island now, back to Marr and onto the foot of Albano. Pressure here by the Warriors, forcing the Dolphins to scramble a bit, but they're able to spread out that Warriors defense for just a moment and regroup. This is Marr. Marr looking for somewhere to go with it. Can't find a look that she likes, and there's a good redirection by Evola. Ball for Komuhendo, sent up ahead by Pelinkovic, but once again, the Warriors are the first to it, as Jackson was forced to come over and clear it over the near sideline. Got there just in time. Trying to get a look at the substitution along the far sideline, but we have some long hair covering the number, making it difficult to see. Dolphins looking for their first shot of the match. They won't get it there, as Evola scrambled to take possession in the box, could not, and the two teams now fight for it in the midfield, and that could have been trouble, as Catula was able to take it away but unable to keep it in play. Throw in by the Dolphins. This is Galan. Galan for D'Amico. D'Amico to Marr. Marr sends it across midfield to Evola, who finds Rodriguez. Rodriguez to D'Amico. She has space, but gives it up for Evola, and waiting right there to intercept was Norwood. D'Amico certainly had the opportunity to shoot there, was looking for a better shot opportunity, and Evola never received the ball, but there's Staten Island's first shot. It was partially blocked, and that may go down as a save. We'll see, as that one did wind up rolling into the arms of the goalkeeper. But initially it was blocked by East Stroudsburg at the top of the box. The official shot tally right now, 4-0 in favor of East Stroudsburg, as whistle is blown and Dolphins are awarded the free kick. Didn't catch if we had an offsides or a foul call. As the free kick is taken along the near sideline and sent up in the air by Evola, headed away by Seaman, rolls out toward midfield where Shuley meets it. Getting ahead on it was Bianchini. She now has possession and sends it back to Seaman, who will find Connolly just short of midfield, but Connolly's redirect for Shuley is taken away by Jones-Bush. Galan sends it back to Villacrest. Villacrest over to Marr. Marr moving forward, being chased from behind by Katula, and now Pelinkovic wrestling with Bianchini for possession. Bianchini has it with Pelinkovic challenging, and Pelinkovic does take it away from Norwood, but Connolly is there to intercept the pass and is dispossessed by Como. Como for Komuhendo, and Komuhendo dispossessed for just a moment, but D'Amico chases the play down from behind. She sends it back to Galan. Now Jones-Bush with it. Jones-Bush sends it long, and it's just a bit too long for Komuhendo. And we have a whistle, and I believe the Dolphins were whistled for a foul in the midfield, as it will be a free kick for the Warriors. Brienne Seaman to take it. This is Boss off of the free kick. She finds Bianchini, who redirected for Katula. Katula went down as the Dolphins looked to clear, and I believe it was either Bianchini or Katula who was whistled for the foul. Bianchini went down, and the Dolphins will have a free kick a few yards out from their own penalty area. Marr with possession for Staten Island, sends it up to Albano. Albano crosses midfield, moving into the attacking third. She finds Evola. Evola looking for Rodriguez, and it's headed away by Motes. Down goes Shuley, and the Dolphins take possession back as Rodriguez was looking for Komuhendo on that ball, and it's intercepted by Seaman. That's Avencia Welsh working along the far sideline. That was the second substitution for East Stroudsburg. I finally got a look at the number on Welsh's kit as she gets her first touch just moments ago. D'Amico sends it up to Evola. Evola with a pass off the heel for Pelinkovic, who sends it up ahead to Komuhendo. Attack developing for Staten Island here. Boss got a foot on it, and was she able to avoid conceding the corner kick is the question. I believe it's a Dolphins throw deep in the corner with Pelinkovic to take it. Alex Skinner, along with three other Warriors, are waiting for their chance to check into this one. Skinner just came off the bench a few seconds ago as Como able to knock down the throw with the chest, sends it back to Pelinkovic, who crosses it in front. Komuhendo with possession in close, looking to turn, cannot. And the Warriors are able to clear, but not very far as Galan sent it up in the air. And that ball well wide as we have four East Stroudsburg substitutions coming on. The first of which I mentioned, Alex Skinner. The second is Corinne Gamber. The third is Jessica Harpel. And there was one more. As I try and get a look, it is Olivia Schallenberger. So Skinner, Gamber, Harpel, and Schallenberger check in for East Stroudsburg with just under 13.5 minutes to play in half number one. Throw-in belongs to Staten Island here along the far sideline. And Galan will take it. Galan's throw for Rodriguez is redirected to Comohendo. Comohendo for Como. Como sends it back to Mar. Mar has her ball emphatically knocked down as Pelinkovic with a big play there to prevent a counterattack. Now Evola is working against Skinner. She chips it up in the air as Pelinkovic gets to it. And she was dispossessed by Bion Keeney as the whistle blows, and it will be a foul against the Dolphins. Free kick for East Stroudsburg with 12:40 to play in the half. Boss will take it. She sends it back to Seaman. Seaman moves toward midfield and crosses the midfield stripe. She sends it up ahead. Jones-Bush able to head it away. And it winds up with Nadia Evola. Evola for Rodriguez, looking for Comohendo, headed away by Boss. D'Amico and Shuley were waiting for it. It ends up with Welsh. Welsh for Schallenberger, and Jones-Bush with the clearance toward the far sideline. Rodriguez is giving chase, and Seaman will send it up ahead to Shuley. Shuley for Welsh. Welsh and Shuley sending it back and forth to one another, but the Dolphins are all over it. And CSI takes possession back. Dolphins looking to move into the attacking third. This is Comohendo. Comohendo working against Seaman. Sends the ball back toward Galan, who puts it in the air. It's headed down by Schallenberger onto the foot of D'Amico. That was Albano last to touch it for Staten Island as the Dolphins commit the turnover. But the Warriors unable to keep possession as Jones-Bush goes down working against Welsh, and Pelinkovic is able to clear. As some more Warriors look to join that attack, the Dolphins are able to shut it down. That's headed in the air by Skinner. It now is with Boss. Boss up ahead to Harpel, but Evola comes away with it. Evola for Rodriguez, who has some space. Rodriguez looks to turn toward goal. She shoots, and it is saved by Jackson. That will be officially the second shot on goal for CSI. Both teams with a pair, I should say. The Dolphins with a pair on goal, only one on goal for East Stroudsburg. The Dolphins now with 2 shots, 2 corner kicks for the Warriors as Pelinkovic retreats toward the near sideline. And Bianchini all over her as Jones-Bush will elect to clear. Getting a body on it was Harpel, and keeping it in was Skinner. Warriors working along the near sideline. This is Skinner now, and the Dolphins dispossess her in the middle of the pitch. D'Amico with it, gives it up to Albano. Albano for Evola, and right back to Albano, who puts it up in the air looking for Comohendo. Comohendo had to settle underneath it, and Boss beats her to the spot as Garrett goes down in the box, and we will have another pair of substitutions. Shirley Hernandez and Bettine Voigt-Penson checking in for the College of Staten Island. Garrett Comohendo and Emily Albano will come off for CSI. So you would presume that Hernandez and Voigt-Penson would play the final 9.5 minutes of this first half. Dolphins on the attack here following the throw. This is Pelinkovic for Evola. This is Hernandez. Hernandez back to Pelinkovic. She sends it towards Voigt-Penson, and the Warriors are able to break up the pass and will now look to counter. This is Welsh. Welsh crossing midfield. Welsh moving into the attacking third. She has a lot of space in front of her. Here comes Welsh. She fires a shot, and it's just high and wide. So the Dolphins electing not to challenge Welsh as she took that ball a long way into the attacking third and put a quality shot toward goal, but it was just high and wide. Goal kick for the Dolphins, and this is Pelinkovic with possession for Staten Island, and she is just able to get rid of it as that one trickles out toward midfield. Boss has it for East Stroudsburg. She's moving forward on the attack. Voight Penson was challenging from behind as Boss muscles through 3 Dolphins. She looks to cross, and getting a body on it was Como. The Dolphins completely stifling that cross, as now Boss will need to get back defensively. The Dolphins looking to counter as Evola nicely chipping it up in the air, now sends it forward with the head. And we have a whistle and a foul called against East Stroudsburg along the near sideline. Dolphins will have to set this one up for the free kick as play had advanced beyond midfield. Marr to take the free kick, and she sends it back to her keeper, Villacrest. Villacrest for Marr. Marr moving forward toward midfield, sends it up to Evola. And Evola has looked to do that a few times where she receives a pass and immediately looks to switch play toward the far sideline. Hasn't found success yet. And the Warriors would be wise to be ready for that play, as D'Amico now has it working against Welsh. Barely able to squeeze that through a pair of Warriors, as Voight Penson goes down along with Schallenberger, and it was Voight Penson whistled for the foul with 7 minutes to play in the half. This is Welsh. First Dolphin to meet her is Galan, but Welsh had no problem getting past Galan, which forced Angie to commit the foul. Looked like both players got their feet tangled on that sequence as the clock is stopped, and Voight Penson was down in the midfield circle, and trainer will immediately sprint out onto the pitch to meet Voight Penson, and looks like Voight Penson favoring the right arm or shoulder, perhaps. She is able to walk off no problem, but Allison Ocasio, head trainer here at the College of Staten Island, will take a look as the Dolphins will be down a player on this free kick. So we'll see what East Stroudsburg looks to do with this free kick opportunity in the attacking third. Natalie Schuley to take the free kick. Dolphins set up a 3-player wall as that's into the middle of the box. Sent just high. That ball wound up on the foot of Corinne Gamber in the midst of heavy traffic. Gamber had a great look at it, and she sent a rocket high. What a chance for East Stroudsburg as we have another Warrior substitution coming on. Leaving the pitch is Millie Smith. Didn't get a look at who came on as that substitution was made very quickly, but once I catch the substitution, I will pass it along. And this is Boss with it for East Stroudsburg. And that is Harpel looking for Welsh, intercepted by Pelinkovic. Como's ball in the direction of Shirley Hernandez, and that one not a dangerous ball as it winds up on the foot of Jackson. It's back with Boss once again. Boss for Harpel, and now Skinner back to Boss. Boss up to Gamber, who attempted that last shot. Now Welsh working against Pelinkovic, and she was nearly able to beat her marker and keep that one in, but it trickles over the near sideline. Fortunately so for the Dolphins, as I think we have a handball there, and we sure do, as the Dolphins will be awarded the free kick along the near sideline. Clock ticking down towards 5 minutes to play in the first half. Still no score between the Dolphins and the Warriors. As I mentioned briefly during the pregame, not much to go by in terms of common opponents for these two teams. They've both faced the Felician University Golden Falcons. Both sides picked up the victory. Dolphins 2-1 in double overtime, and the Warriors 3-0. Outside of that, all you really have to look at to gauge these two teams is goal differential and the overall records, and that greatly favors East Stroudsburg entering today's action. As Evola is dispossessed, and that one sent toward the far sideline. I believe that's Caitlin Leffler along the far sideline. That would be the recent substitution for East Stroudsburg, as I think that's number 17. Tough to tell from this distance on the other side of the pitch, and The attacking play continues for the Warriors. That is sent toward the top of the box. Heavy traffic and cleared away by the Dolphins. Looks like the Dolphins also snuck a substitution past me as Isabella Castro, is on for the College of Staten Island. We are awaiting a throw-in for the Warriors, and the whistle blows as East Stroudsburg throws in along the far sideline. The two teams battling for possession. The Warriors ultimately send it in the air. It winds up on the foot of Harpel, but Castro is there to challenge, forcing the Warriors to try and start an attack from midfield. As Boss finds Welsh, challenged by Pelinkovic. She sends it back, and Bianchini had to chase it down with Como in hot pursuit. This is Bianchini. Gave it up to Leffler, and that is sent into the box off the head of Gamber onto the foot of Pelinkovic. Gamber now working against Castro, and the Dolphins are able to clear. Headed over the near sideline by Evola. Quick throw in taken by the Warriors as Welsh is working against Pelinkovic once again. She sends it back to Skinner. Skinner looking for a crossing opportunity, and she had it, as that was Jessica Harpel, the closest Warrior. Fortunately for the Dolphins, she could not get to that ball, and CSI was able to clear, but that was a dangerous spot as we get set up for a Warriors corner kick. Corner kick to be taken by Bianchini. With just over 2 minutes to play, that corner off the foot of Marr and onto the foot of Harpel. And Villacrest able to make the save, as it looked like Marr would be able to clear, and it was a very soft clearance attempt right onto the foot of Harpel. Fortunately for the Dolphins, not much on that shot, and Villacrest able to save it. As Harpel will take that corner. Ball rolls into the middle of the box off the foot of a Warrior and back out toward midfield where Skinner is waiting for it. And it is over the near sideline. 1:30 to play in the first half. Skinner to throw. Throw taken out toward midfield, and it rolls into the attacking third for the Warriors. And attempting to clear was Jones Bush. She sends it off the chest of Welsh, and Staten Island will throw deep in their own zone with just over a minute to play in the first half. We'll make that a free kick for the Dolphins with 1 minute to go in the half. Free kick taken by Marr, and not a long one, but fortunately for the Dolphins, it's headed over the touchline by Harpel, and the Dolphins should be able to run this down and bring the half to a close if they choose. Perhaps one final attacking opportunity instead, as Como redirects, but it's onto the foot of Skinner. Now Welsh. Two Dolphins there. It's Evola who sends it back toward Pelinkovic, and Pelinkovic sends it into the midfield circle before the Warriors send it right back in the other direction. Maybe one more attacking play here as Marr whiffed on the clearance, but once again Pelinkovic is there, and you can see she's clearly trying to run the time off the clock. 10 seconds to go in the half as a throw-in was awarded to East Stroudsburg, and the ball travels over the near sideline, which should bring half number one to a close. No score through 45 minutes between the College of Staten Island and East Stroudsburg University. When we come back for the second half, the two teams will be in a scoreless tie, but before we break for halftime, I did mention briefly ahead of our start that I was provided some names of players that members of this Dolphins team would like to recognize during today's breast cancer awareness game, and I want to pull some of those up as we celebrate Breast Cancer Awareness Month here at the College of Staten Island during today's match, and I want to make sure that we recognize the names given to us by our Dolphins players, as Colleen Rodriguez would like to recognize Carol Dunsmore during today's breast cancer awareness match. And shout out to Carol during today's match, and best wishes from us here at the College of Staten Island. Same goes to all of our honorees during today's Breast Cancer Awareness Day. Natalie Benitez would like to recognize Sandy Jessop. Nadia Evola would like to recognize Tanya Rossi. Ariel Solomon would like to recognize Carol Morrison. Emily Albano would like to recognize Antoinette Simler. Macy Jones-Bush would like to recognize Dolores Cardinal. And Coach Brendan Guzman would like to recognize Catherine Clinton and Lori Maroulis. We also had a late add to the list as Dolphins goalkeeper Sarah Villacrest would like to recognize Johnny Vera. So a special shout out and best wishes from all of us here at the College of Staten Island to all of our honorees during today's Breast Cancer Awareness Day here at Dolphin Soccer Park. And when we come back, today's match will conclude perhaps in 45 minutes and maybe even some free soccer this afternoon here on the ECC Network, as we've already had 2 overtime matches this year. So stay with us. More NCAA Division II women's soccer on CSI Sportsnet, now a proud part of the ECC Network, when we return from our halftime break. And we're back here on the ECC Network. College of Staten Island taking on East Stroudsburg University in this NCAA Division II women's soccer matchup. This is Joe Foreman rejoining you from the press box atop Dolphin Soccer Park. And we are about to get started in the second half of Dolphins Warriors. No score at the break during today's breast cancer awareness game, being held, of course, in recognition of Breast Cancer Awareness Month. And as I spoke about ahead of the halftime break, several players recognizing specific individuals on this afternoon, and Dolphins wearing pink socks in recognition of Breast Cancer Awareness Month. Dolphins do possess it first to open up the second half, and they move forward on the attack quickly as this is Pelinkovic giving chase along the far sideline. She keeps it in play. Moving in toward the box, crossing in front, and Espada was there, but Jackson gets to it first as the Dolphins open the second half with a tremendous attacking play. Dolphins line up to open the second half. In front at the forward spots are Espada, Evola, and Rodriguez. In the midfield, Como, D'Amico, and Albano. In the back, Pelinkovic, Galan, Marr, and Jones-Bush. Fortunately, I don't possess that kind of familiarity with the Warriors to just look at their numbers and get a quick idea of who's on the pitch, but I'll try and run through the Stroudsburg players as well. In the back, we have Seaman, Boss, Connolly, and Moats. Check that. Connolly in the midfield. Moats, Seaman, Boss, and I believe that's Norwood on the far sideline in the back. Then in the midfield, Smith, Connolly, Marshall, and Scove. And at the forward spots, Shuley and Katula. At least that's what it appears from where I'm seated in the press box. Always tough to tell exactly where everyone is positioned, but that looks to be about right, as East Stroudsburg does possess the ball, moving toward the attacking third, and there is an emphatic clearance by Pelinkovic, and that will lead to a Warriors throw. Throw taken down into the attacking third, but Pelinkovic will do a good job shielding the attacker off of the ball. That was Scove looking to get a foot on it, but Pelinkovic denies her, and Villacrest will take the goal kick. Jones-Bush has it around the edge of the box, and she's moving forward quickly and colliding with Smith was Jones-Bush, and that draws a whistle, and it will be a free kick for the Warriors. So the Dolphins go from moving forward with possession and some speed to conceding a free kick. Catula will take it. That free kick taken toward the far post. 2 Warriors right there. And the flag is up for offsides as that deflected off the head of Haley Scove. A good, accurate free kick by Catula, and she had 2 attackers set up along that far post in good position to head the ball, but they were in such good position because at least one of them were offsides. Pelinkovic sends it a long way, and Rodriguez is the closest Dolphin, but Seaman first to it for the Warriors as D'Amico chases that play down from behind. She sends it off Connolly, who gives it up to Smith, and redirecting was Catula for Shuley, but Pelinkovic does come away with it. That pass intercepted by Marshall, who sends it back to Seaman, and now ball sent a long way up in the air. It's off the foot of Galan, now off the foot of Espada, and here comes Jenna Como. Como up to Evola. Evola and Boss both giving chase, and Boss shoulders Evola off of the ball as Espada came bearing down on Jackson, the goalkeeper, forcing a quick clearance. Ball now with Pelinkovic, sent into the box where Evola and Boss are both waiting for it. It's headed in the air. Como, the first Dolphin to arrive, but it is knocked away by Norwood, and here comes Shuley. Shuley for Marshall. Marshall looking to cross midfield, working against Albano. Marshall being forced to retreat now, sends it back to Seaman. Seaman up to Shuley. Shuley looking to move toward the center of the pitch. She has some space, and that is over the head of Catula. I'm not sure if that was a shot attempt or a pass. Looked to be a shot attempt, and that will result in a Dolphins goal kick. Goal kick taken short as Albano will send it toward the far sideline, and Dolphins will concede the throw. Throw taken toward the corner of the box. This is Catula looking to turn against Marr. Her cross attempt is blocked, and that will lead to a throw-in deep in the corner. Throw taken from the far sideline and headed out of the box by Jones-Bush. Boss first to it for East Stroudsburg as the Dolphins pressure along the far sideline. Norwood trying to escape Rodriguez. She could not, and Rodriguez sends a pass over to D'Amico, but Connolly gets there first. Pelinkovic intercepts the pass by Connolly, who then gets a foot on the ball from Pelinkovic. Seaman will send it in the air again, and it's off the head of Galan onto the foot of Espada. And taking it away was Moach. She gives it up to Catula, and Catula's ball taken away by Marr. Dolphins now have it in the midfield, and that pass from Evola for Rodriguez too long and over the far side. Here comes Shuley. She got by Pelinkovic, looks to cross, and Villacrest is there. It hasn't been a particularly busy afternoon for either goalkeeper. Villacrest with a pair of saves on 7 shots faced, and Jackson with 3 saves. All 3 shots the Dolphins have attempted have been on target. They've been outshot overall 7-3. Possession, though we don't track that on our live stats, seems fairly even between the two sides as there's a turnover by the Warriors. Jackson passed it right to Espada. The Dolphins will make a couple of passes before attempting a shot, and it was D'Amico who sent it high, but that turnover, nearly a costly error by the Warriors goalkeeper, and I'm not sure exactly what Jackson had in mind on that pass. The Dolphins then didn't really show much urgency in getting a shot attempt either before D'Amico ultimately sent it well high. Dolphins had it last along the far sideline, and that ball is over the touchline for a Warriors throw-in. Long throw taken, and this may set up an attack as that's crossed into the box. Marshall giving chase. She won't get there as Katula was being challenged hard on that cross. The long throw was attempted by Norwood. It was right on target. Fortunately, the Dolphins able to disrupt that cross defensively as the ball is being knocked around in the midfield. Turning with it is Scove. Scove looking for Katula. Jones-Bush has the angle and will shield Katula off the ball. We saw Jones-Bush go down with an injury a couple of home matches ago, and she didn't play in our last broadcast here on the ECC network from Dolphins Soccer Park. Good to see her back out on the pitch. Dolphins did lose Bettine Voigt-Penson to an injury earlier in the match, and she is no longer on the Dolphins bench as we have a shot attempt developing off of that Dolphins turnover quickly, and it is saved by Villacrez. So the Dolphins turn it over in their own zone, and that turns into a shot on goal by Katula once again, as this is Rodriguez giving chase, and Jackson forced to clear from play in front of one goal to the other very quickly. As a foul is called against Marshall. She can't believe it as she ultimately went down on the play, and Dolphins will have a free kick. Jones-Bush will take the free kick. That one sent across midfield, redirected by D'Amico, and sent away across midfield by the Warriors. And there's a good ball for Katula. She has plenty of space. One-on-one with Villacrez. Katula's shot. It didn't appear it was blocked, and it was not. So she just shanked it. Dolphins had three defenders to Katula's right, but it was basically a one-on-one between her and the Dolphins keeper, Villacrez, but the presence of the Dolphins defense was enough to disrupt it and rush the shot attempt. As Pelinkovic looked to send it a long way, it was knocked down by Shuley, and Marr will wisely let it roll over the touchline for another goal kick. Looks like Villacrez thought about rolling it forward, but instead will send it out toward midfield, where the Warriors immediately take possession, and the whistle blows. Foul called against the Dolphins, so another free kick for East Stroudsburg coming up as we approach 34 minutes to go in the second half. Still no score. Boss to take the free kick for the Warriors, and I think handball was the call, and that is indeed the call. Haley Scove can't believe it, but I could certainly see what the officials saw. I'm not sure if she got a forearm on it or a body on it. The latter, not a problem. The former, not allowed. And the head official looks like he ruled that she got the forearm on the ball as the Dolphins look to move forward on the attack. Rodriguez looked a bit shaken up following that challenge as Evola sends it to the top of the box. Whistle blows, and it'll be a free kick for the Warriors as the official wanted East Stroudsburg to move it back a bit. Seaman to take it. That one sent well beyond midfield, headed in the air by Jones-Bush, and that sets up Shuley, who is chasing the ball, but Villacrez was ready for her and is able to retrieve it near the top of the box. comes Pelinkovic, looking for Como on that pass. And ball winds up right back with Pelinkovic and onto the foot of Seaman, who sends it a long way. And Villacrest had just enough space to use the hands there, as the Dolphins elected to let that one roll, and that was a risky decision. As D'Amico goes down, looked like an advantage was being played for a moment there, as Pelinkovic now retreats after this ball, but she'll let it roll over the touchline for another Dolphins goal kick. Dolphins substitution as Natalie Benitez checks in for Sofia Espada. Olivia Hudson and Alicia Bianchini check in for the Warriors. So 2 substitutions for each side, and make that 3. Or I should say make that 2 for each side right now as Ariel Solomon checks on. So a pair of subs for each team with 31:11 to go in the second half. Play resumes with the Dolphins goal kick as Jones Bush decides to just clear it over the near sideline. That will concede a throw. And Jones Bush with a hard challenge there, and she has collected the yellow cards this season. I don't believe I have the official tally in front of me, but Jones Bush is no stranger to physical play. And that's a dangerous spot to concede the free kick from. Not necessarily a free kick you like to concede in any situation, but especially in a scoreless tie. Catula to take the free kick. Here it comes. And that's a shot saved by Villacrest. Villacrest initially looked like she was preparing for a cross attempt, but Catula sent one right down the middle, forcing Villacrest to punch it in the air up and over the crossbar. The yellow card tally that I referenced just moments ago for Jones Bush is 4. That leads the team, as no other Dolphin has been issued more than a single yellow, as that's sent into the middle of the box for Connolly off the corner. Headed toward goal as Connolly sends it back to Welsh. Her shot is high and wide. Goal kick for Staten Island. That ball lingered in a dangerous spot for a few seconds there, but no shot comes of it for East Stroudsburg, as the Dolphins look to get on the attack once again. It's been quite a while since the Dolphins have had a chance in this third of the field, and it looks like they may get one as the whistle blows, and offsides was the call against Rodriguez and the Dolphins. Warriors to throw along the far sideline. Long throw taken out toward midfield. Rolls beyond the midfield stripe and chipped in the air by Jones Bush. Two teams now battling for possession in the midfield. It's Rodriguez who comes away with it. Rodriguez moving into the attacking third, working against Norwood. Rodriguez sends a cross into the box and into the outstretched arms of Jackson. That one punted out toward midfield and headed in the air by D'Amico. Solomon for Rodriguez. Rodriguez looking to get an attacking play started again, but cannot. And the Warriors will head back in the other direction. Scove sends it over to Moats. Moats with an ill-advised pass there, and Albano takes it away. Albano for Solomon, and Solomon looked to take it outside. Looked like she had some room in between the two defenders for East Stroudsburg, but is ultimately dispossessed, and a foul was called against the Dolphins on that D'Amico challenge. Here come the Warriors. As once again, Jones-Bush will clear, and that one's sent right off of the fence post and back onto the field of play. As we have another substitution for East Stroudsburg. Louisa Bueno will check in. She replaces Haley Scove. Warriors will throw to resume play, and that's Catula. Now Norwood sends one toward the top of the box, and Villacrest is there waiting. Villacrest punts out toward midfield, where Como was waiting. This is Benitez. Benitez trying to escape. A pair of markers could not. And the Warriors take possession in the midfield. They choose to send it back to Seaman. Here comes Jackson, who punts it across midfield. Marr is there waiting for Staten Island. Whistle blows. Foul called. Dolphins awarded the free kick. 26 minutes to play in the second half. Still no score. As Pelinkovic will take the free kick. She sent it into the attacking third, where it's headed by D'Amico. Solomon, the closest Dolphin. It winds up back with D'Amico. D'Amico looking for somewhere to go with it. That ball knocked down by Catula. Here comes Welsh. Warriors on the attack, crossing midfield. Welsh moving into the attacking third, where she is met by a pair of Dolphins. Galan ultimately taking it away from Bueno. Villacrest from Marr. Marr to D'Amico. Catula gets there and knocks D'Amico down to the turf. But the ball is back in the arms of Villacrest. Villacrest directing traffic. And she punts out toward midfield, where it is headed by Connolly. This is Hudson, challenged by Albano. Hudson with a good ball, and with space as well. She beats one challenge, and Villacrest dives on top of it. So Welsh able to get by Marr, but Marr stayed in that play long enough to allow her keeper to make the save. And it wasn't a shot attempt that Villacrest made the save on, but with Welsh breaking in toward goal, Villacrest was able to dive on top of the ball thanks to the disruption by Marr. Great effort play all around defensively by the Dolphins as they now look to take possession back. They cannot, as Moat sends it up in the air, and she has an attacker in good position. That was Bueno again in that striker spot up front in the forward position, making a break toward that ball. And if Villacrest doesn't come away with it, Bueno likely does. Foul against the Dolphins in the midfield, as it was Como who was whistled for the foul. The official moving play back just a bit, and Seaman will take the free kick. Free kick sent into the box, and Villacrest snags it on a hop. Routine grab there for the Dolphins keeper. And she will send one weakly out toward midfield. Not a lot under that free kick, I should say, on the punt attempt. As Jackson sends one a long way across midfield from goal. Got the running start. That is Bianchini working against Pelinkovic along the far sideline as Pelinkovic sends it up to her forwards. This is Solomon. Solomon surveying the defense, looking for somewhere to go with it. She gives it up to Como. Como moving in toward the corner. Looks to have a step on Connolly, but Connolly, with a good angle, is beaten by Como. Como working against a much larger defender, works her way into the box She's now met by 2 more Warriors, and finally it is Moats who takes it away, and her clearance attempt was blocked by Solomon over the touchline, and it will be a goal kick. Good effort there on the attack by Como, not enough to generate a scoring chance. And with this upcoming goal kick, we will have another Dolphin substitution. Gorette Comohendo on, Colleen Rodriguez off. For the Warriors, Alex Skinner waiting to come on. That should happen following the next stoppage, which allows for an East Stroudsburg substitution anyway. As that one is sent toward the near sideline. Waiting for it is Moats. And on the touch, it's with Natalie Benitez, who nearly turned it over. But it finds Villacres, who scoops it up once again. Villacres sends it across midfield. It's up in the air. Waiting for it are 2 Warriors and a Dolphin. And Galan with it now. Galan quickly turns it over. Here comes Welsh and now Bueno. And Bueno was offside, so Welsh would have been wise to keep that ball. Instead, sent it up ahead to Luisa Bueno, who was offsides. Free kick upcoming for the Dolphins. That offsides call, only the second of the match. Both have gone against the Warriors. Jones Bush to take the free kick. Free kick sent toward midfield where Como has it. This is Benitez. Back to Como along the near sideline. She's met by a pair of Warriors. Nearly worked her way by a 3rd Warrior, and Como has it. Como again weaving her way through traffic, draws the whistle as well. Jenna Como has done a great job creating attacking chances for the Dolphins. CSI now needs to capitalize with a quality shot. Free kick upcoming. D'Amico will take it. She sends it to the top of the box. And Boss, the first to it for East Stroudsburg, and she's met by Albano. Ball now back with D'Amico, and she chips it into the box where nobody was there. Not sure the back line of the Warriors needed to head that one away, as their keeper had a clear path to it. And the Dolphins bench thought Moats might have gotten a foot on that ball in the corner. She did not. Goal kick upcoming for East Stroudsburg, as we do have a Warrior substitution coming on. I mentioned before it was Alex Skinner waiting to check in, and she replaces Caitlin Norwood. Clock ticking down towards 19 minutes to go in the second half. We are still locked in a scoreless tie. Nice pass with the heel kick there by Bueno, as Welsh is kept off of the ball by 2 Dolphins defenders. Nicely done in the back by CSI. This is Pelinkovic. Up to Solomon. And Solomon is called for the handball. Free kick for the Warriors to be taken by Boss. Boss waiting for her teammates to get set, and she sent it into the attacking third. Catula was waiting for it, and the Dolphins now possess it as Benitez sends it across midfield. It will roll over the touchline. Throw in by the Warriors, headed up in the air initially by the Dolphins, and Pelinkovic drew the whistle as she was pushed from behind. Free kick for Staten Island. Jones Bush looked to send it across midfield, headed down by Hudson. Bueno finds Catula. Catula was looking to play Bianchini through, and Bianchini appearing baffled by that pass. That through ball was too long, but it was the right idea. And the Dolphins will throw right in front of the Warriors bench. Galan for Solomon. Welsh working against Solomon, and the foul was called against the Dolphins. Seaman will come up from the backer spot to take the free kick, and she sends it over to Boss. Boss with a long ball into the box, and that rolls harmlessly over the touchline. We have a Dolphins substitution once again. It will be Isabella Castro coming on for Staten Island, replacing Jenna Como. Villacrest to take the goal kick with just over 16 minutes to play in the second half. This is Jones-Bush for Castro. And it rolls over the near sideline. Throw in by Motes. Toward Bueno, where she's met by two Dolphins. This is Comohendo. Comohendo threads the needle on that pass. Solomon looks to chase it down and keep it with the Dolphins. And getting the last touch on it were the Warriors. So Dolphins earn the throw-in as CSI looks to keep possession following the throw. And they will off that Comohendo interception, but she couldn't keep it within the boundaries. So a throw in now for East Stroudsburg. Throw in by the Warriors, headed toward the middle of the pitch by Welsh. Dolphins nearly turn it over as Bueno was right there looking to take that ball and make a run with it, as there would have been no white jerseys between her and the net. As now the Warriors taking a more methodical approach, working the ball east to west. This is Boss moving forward, sends it up ahead toward Bueno, who couldn't get a foot on it. These last few minutes have seen quite a bit of attacking play from the Warriors. Dolphins have had a tough time taking possession through midfield. Throw in for East Stroudsburg, and it looks like we are going to have a substitution. And it appears as if the official just told the Warriors bench that their players cannot be jogging up and down the sideline, something they were doing throughout the first half. Didn't seem to be a problem then, but I think that was what he just said now. Can't imagine any other reason why the head official would address the East Stroudsburg sideline, but the Warriors on the bench will stay put for now as the Dolphins do take possession in the midfield. Here comes Albano. Albano was trying to send that one ahead towards Solomon, and it's knocked down. Possession stays with Staten Island for a moment, but the Warriors take it back in the midfield. As Hudson is challenged by D'Amico, she gets rid of it. This is Boss. Boss surveying, sends it up ahead toward Bueno. Marr puts it in the air. Pelinkovic waiting for it on the way down off a deflection, and she is dispossessed by Bianchini. Bianchini looking for Welsh. Jones-Bush getting a foot on it, but it's right back to Welsh. Welsh with a chance to cross, and it is knocked away by Jones-Bush. And we will have a corner kick. This will be corner number 6 for East Stroudsburg, as the Warriors will make a pair of substitutions. Corinne Gamber is on, along with Natalie Shuley. Coming off are Olivia Hudson and Luisa Bueno. Corner kick taken short along the near post, and the Dolphins send that one out of the box quickly. Gamber, who just checked in ahead of that corner, had what was likely the best scoring chance of this game. A shot from point-blank range that she got a lot behind, but she sent it high. As that one's headed toward midfield, Connolly waiting for it. Sends it back to Boss. Boss challenged by Solomon. Able to get rid of it, but Pelinkovic nearly intercepting. Possession stays with the Warriors. This is Connolly. Connolly for Moats. Moats has some space. Looking for Gamber. Headed away by Jones-Bush. Bianchini and Albano both looked to send it up in the air, and it was Albano who got the last foot on it. The two teams once again fight for possession in the midfield as Moats sends it up ahead. Bianchini for Shuley, redirected for Welsh. Welsh is on sides. Welsh moving in, cross in front, redirected by Gamber and off of a Dolphin. That was off of Marr. I believe the goal will be credited to Gamber as Welsh crossed it in. It deflected off of Gamber and then ricocheted into the back of the net off Megan Marr. What a tough break for the Dolphins to break the scoreless tie for East Stroudsburg. They net the game's first goal and lead 1-0 with 11:29 to play in the second half. That was an incredibly tough break for Staten Island right there, but you could tell that East Stroudsburg was on the verge of something as they continued to put the pressure on the Dolphins and goalkeeper Sarah Villacrest here in this second half. A lot of time spent down around the penalty area for this Warriors attack, and they finally break through with the game's first goal. We haven't had an official announcement on the goal yet. I do believe it was Gamber who was last to touch it for the Warriors, so we'll see if the statistician agrees. If it was Gamber last to touch it, that goal would be her first of the season. And Gamber now with a chance against Jones-Bush. Marr in pursuit. And Jones-Bush is whistled for the foul on that tackle attempt. So for Gamber, if she is credited the goal, that's number one. And we'll talk about the assist in just a moment as that's crossed toward Welsh. Welsh looking to send it back in front. It's knocked away by Galan. So the Warriors wasting no time getting back on the attack yet again. As I do believe it's going to be an injury timeout. And I think that's Jones-Bush down to a knee. And it sure is. She's limping following that last sequence. The last time we saw Jones-Bush leave the pitch injured, it appeared to be some sort of leg injury. And it looks like she is going to leave the pitch injured once again. I hate to see any player leave the pitch injured, but to see it twice in the last, I think this makes the last 3 home games for Jones-Bush being assisted off injured. It appears as if she is able to put some weight on the leg. That was not the case last time. So the short-term prognosis looks to be a bit more positive as Brendan Guzman will join Allison Ocasio helping Jones-Bush off. And it does appear as if she's still able to put some weight on that leg, so hopefully she's okay. Emily Albano will check back in to replace Jones-Bush. Given the nature of the injury with only 10:20 on the clock, I'd say it's likely her day is done. As we have a corner kick upcoming following the stoppage with 10:21 on the clock. Shuley is lined up to take the corner, but she gives it up short to Bianchini. This is Catula. Sends one in front, and Villacrest gets there ahead of Connolly, who was right there besides her. Villacrest sends it up in the air. Evola and Shuley both trying to head that one down, collide over the ball, and it was Shuley called for the foul. Free kick for Staten Island inside of 10 minutes to play in the second half. Mar's free kick sent toward the far sideline, and it rolls over the touchline for another throw by the Warriors. That throw rolling along the far sideline. Gamber is working against Mar. Gamber knocks it down. Now working against Albano. And Albano will let it roll for a Dolphins goal kick. Nine minutes to play. Dolphins looking for an equalizer. Haven't had much in the way of attacking play since very early in the second half. Albano for Solomon, headed up in the air towards Comohendo, but Seaman is first to it. And the Warriors will head back in the other direction. This is Catula, now Shuley. Shuley looking for Skinner, but Pelinkovic is there first, and she clears. 8.5 to play, throw in for East Stroudsburg. Into the box, Gamber is waiting, heads it toward Catula and cleared by Albano. This is Pelinkovic, over to Evola. Evola for Albano, up towards Solomon, chipped in the air, Castro waiting for it. Dolphins may have something brewing here. Here comes Castro, and Evola able to track that one down, but her pass intercepted by Connolly. This is Shuley. Shuley for Catula, being chased by Como. That ball intended for Welsh. It's on target, and Welsh with a really tough angle to chip it over Villacrest, but if she could have, there was nobody home in net for the Dolphins. As it stands, Dolphins goal kick. CSI substitution coming on. It is Colleen Rodriguez replacing Gorette Comohendo. Comohendo with a couple of very short stints out on the pitch here this afternoon. Rodriguez got the start and has spent a lot of time at that forward spot. Same goes for Ariel Solomon. Warriors throw taken along the far sideline in the attacking third. This is Bianchini working against Mar, and Mar is whistled for the foul, and we have a yellow card. So Megan Mar is issued the yellow for her. That is yellow card number 2 on the season, and it will give East Stroudsburg a free kick in another dangerous spot. The clock has been stopped at 6:53. Dolphins will set up a 2-player wall. I believe that is Catula to take the free kick. It is. She has 4 teammates lined up in the box just outside of the far post. Make it 5 now. 1 at the top of the box in the middle. Short free kick on the ground. Rolls in front. Dangerous spot. And Villacrest is there, and we are going to have a yellow card. As it looked like the official saw Haley Reinhardt stabbing at the ball once Villacrest had gotten on top of it, and that drew the card. So Reinhardt is shown the yellow, our second yellow card in about 30 seconds of gameplay. And with 6.5 to go in the second half, our score still 1-0. Dolphins trying to get possession in the midfield, and they do. This is Como. Como sees that ball knocked down. It's rolling forward. Evola got a toe on it, and the ball now back with Evola as she gets by one marker, sends one on goal, and Jackson makes the easy save. Dolphins still trying to get possession in the box, and it's a good thing that Seaman was there to clear because Solomon was charging in. And Jackson would not have been able to get there. Thrown by Pelinkovic. Headed up in the air, rolling into the center of the box. Dolphins still looking for a chance to possess. And I think I saw a handball. Not sure if that was the call, but I think it was, as the Dolphins made contact with the hand. And free kick taken by the Warriors as possession is right back with Staten Island. Evola trying to send it through, could not. Como heads it toward the top of the box. Pelinkovic fighting for possession. Ball back up in the air. Sent skyward again by Connolly. That one chipped ahead toward Gamber. Gamber looking to beat Albano to the spot. She does. She now has a step. Welsh also on the attack. Gamber stumbling. Can't get a foot on it, but Villacrest overran the ball. And that opened up the chance for Catula to put it into the empty net. Fortunately for the Dolphins, their defense able to get there first. What a hectic sequence right there, as both teams were scrambling to get to that ball first. And once Gamber was tripped up, it appeared Villacrest had a routine clearance in front of her. Instead, she sprinted right past the ball. Catula was rushing towards the ball, would have put it into the empty net, but the Dolphins' defense cleared first. That concedes a corner. Corner kick number 7 for East Stroudsburg. Corner kick taken toward the top of the box where Boss is the first to get a foot on it. Albano clears toward the far sideline. It's knocked down. Cross sent into the box yet again. Seaman looked to head it over Castro. Now with a shot attempt and sending it wide is Leffler. So a couple of substitutions came on ahead of that corner. Leffler was one of them. She's in for the second time. There was one more sub for the Warriors as well. I think it was Skinner who re-entered the game. Could be mistaken on that one. Shuley moves forward into the attacking third. Shuley for Marshall. Marshall moving into the box. Marshall fires a shot just wide. That one sent toward the far post as Marshall tried to tuck it inside. She could not. And with 3:45 left, the Dolphins will send Sofia Espada back onto the pitch, replacing Isabella Castro. Goal kick upcoming for Staten Island. 3:30 to play in this match. And the Dolphins still in search of an equalizing goal. This is Albano. Albano sends one up ahead. Connolly got ahead on it as Evola finds Pelinkovic with that last pass. Pelinkovic to Rodriguez, who chips it in the air. Headed in the other direction by Boss. Now Shuley sends one toward the back line of Staten Island. This is Marr. Marr sends one to nobody and over the far sideline. 2:50 on the clock. And speaking of Marr, I'm not sure there's anyone who would like to see the Dolphins score an equalizer more than her right now, as the lone goal of this match was sent in off a deflection. Marr was the last to make contact with it, and now Gamber and Catula looking to make a run, and Catula's shot is saved by Villacrest. So the Dolphins goalkeeper able to keep this a one-goal game with 2:20 to play. And the Warriors taking their time getting set up for this corner kick. Wisely so, as this is Marshall off a short corner. Gives it back up to Shuley, who sends it into the box. A lot of black jerseys in the area, but none of them able to make contact with it. And that one sent long and out of play by East Stroudsburg. Goal kick for Sarah Villacrest and the Dolphins upcoming. 1:40 on the clock. Here comes Marr. Marr for Solomon. Solomon working against Skinner. Pelinkovic has it. Now D'Amico. That one sent up toward Rodriguez. Headed away by the Warriors. A whistle sounds, and it is a foul against East Stroudsburg. Clock is stopped as Marshall was standing too close to the ball. Pelinkovic to take the free kick. When play resumes, there will be 1:17 on the clock. Pelinkovic, free kick toward the top of the box, headed away by the Warriors. Marr waiting for it. She got a weak touch on it, but that was enough to get it to Evola. Evola toward Como and Espada. Como chasing it down into the corner. Looks to cross, and it's into the arms of Jackson as we hit the 1-minute mark. Jackson will take her time, and she sends it out toward midfield. Marr is there waiting. Gamber goes over the back. Whistle is blown. Free kick awarded to the Dolphins. Clock winds down inside of 35 seconds to play. This is Galan with it. Galan to Evola. Evola over to Espada. Dolphins with no room for error here. 23 seconds on the clock. Espada throws for Como. It's headed away and then cleared away by Gamber. Galan will throw with 12 seconds to go. One more clearance should do it, and there it is, as that one is sent up in the air by Reinhardt, and that brings this match to a close. The College of Staten Island can't extend to a 2-game winning streak as they drop this one to East Stroudsburg University by a final score of 1-0. For the Warriors, they pick up their second consecutive victory and move to 7-6-1 on the season. The loss drops the College of Staten Island to 3-11-1. Very quickly, some final stats in this match. Shots on goal even at 5 per side. Overall shots favored the Warriors 11-6. 1 yellow card issued to each team. 21 fouls in the game, 11 by Staten Island and 10 by East Stroudsburg University. Dolphins goalkeeper Sarah Villacrest with 4 saves in the match. And for East Stroudsburg, Mari Jackson with 5 saves. 4 offsides calls, all going against the Warriors, and corner kicks favored East Stroudsburg 8-1. So for the College of Staten Island, they dropped this match, again falling to 3-11-1 on the season. Next up for the Dolphins on the schedule will be a match this Saturday, an ECC matchup at Damon. That match kicks off at 11 a.m. Our next broadcast will be a men's soccer broadcast here on CSI Sportsnet. That match will be 6 days from today, as men's soccer will also play an ECC opponent in that match. They take on Roberts Wesleyan here at Dolphin Soccer Park next Wednesday at 12 p.m. But until then, this has been Joe Foreman. For all of us here at the College of Staten Island, we thank you for watching. Once again, our final score, 1-0 in favor of East Stroudsburg University. Our next broadcast 6 days from now on Wednesday, October 27th, when the Dolphins take on Roberts Wesleyan at 12 p.m. If you can't attend the game, be sure to join us here on the ECC Network for that broadcast. And until then, enjoy the rest of your week.